Hello and welcome to our open source R programming class, spring 2018. Today is January 4th. I'm recording this module early on, so if you have questions or do not understand, I will be able to answer that. I will be here all week long during the first week of the semester, so I will be able to answer the questions, and I gave you all the information you need. I have a Skype that is always open, I have a phone in my office, and so you will be able to communicate with me. And even though it's an online course, I also listen to students, and one of the requests that I received from the second time that I taught the class last year is that they want to see more interaction with me. So you will have in this class, you have two face-to-face meeting where we will be able to come to meet with me, ask questions. I will post the material ahead of time, so you will be able to ask questions and be able to share the concern you have, in order for you to have better code, better feedback, and better communication. I would like to go, before we will start and talk about what is R, I would like to talk about the syllabus and what does it entail. And usually, being in the University of South Florida for 5 years now, usually there's two questions. First, what is the textbook? So in this class, we are going to read two textbooks: The Art of Programming by Metloff, and the other one is from the R package, because in the end of this semester, you're going to create your own package. Experience from previous years that students did packages in the class, and some of them got high remarks on it. This is the list of all the students that did that, and because the number of students enrolled in the class are now higher than ever before, we have more than 35 students, which is great. I would like to make sure that everyone understands that in the end, I will expect you to create a package. How is the grade going to take place in the class? First of all, again, this is based on students' comments from previous years. You're going to create a blog. A blog is a platform for me that you will able to share your assignment, see what you have done right, or write about what you have done, and be able to share it with your family, your future employer, or your peers. And so this is really important. You're going to receive every week, you're going to receive an assignment. And so you're going to post the assignment on GitHub, and I will talk about GitHub very soon. GitHub is a repository that allowed you to generate or to post your code, and you're going to do that and link to it and discuss your code on your blog. Then you're going to have 15%, 15% of your grade will be based on 3 quizzes. I don't like quizzes. I never was a good quizzer, but the students wrote, and this is based on their comments, that based on what we cover, and we cover quite a lot in the second part of the class, they wanted to have some form that identify what they have achieved. So the quizzes is basically to see if you understand the concept we covered in the textbook and in the reading and in the assignment, in order for you to see that you are on the right track. And then there's a 5% of peer review. You will be able to review your peers and comment on your peer work. And then there's the final project. The final project consists of 2 steps. The first step, you're going to write a proposal. What are you going to do? And the second post is you're going to write a package. The package will be evaluate by your peers, and then in the end, if you want to, it's your recommendation or your decisions. I cannot say anything. You can post it on the repository website, and you will be able to say, if you are looking for a job, that you created a package and this is the documentation of the package. So I highly recommend that you go over the syllabus, make sure that you understand, make sure that you have dates and the dates are correct and everything is correct with regard to the dates, because again, I have this class, the other class, and I'm teaching 3 classes this semester. I have a lot of students, so help me to help you better. That's my motto this semester. So be specific when you're asking that, and be more elaborate what you are asking me to help and how can I do that. Okay, so now basically the question is, what is R and why are we here? So in most popular software such as Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Office, it is usually owned by individual or a company. And so there is a restrictions what you are allowed to do. Example, in Microsoft Office, you're not allowed to write, yes, you are allowed to write code, but it's very limited to your ability to change the interface based on only the requirements that the software provides you, based on what you are allowed to do. And so there was a movement back in the 70s that started to get more attention. It is called the open software movement. It is an old movement, and so the idea is that the codes should be free in order for us to access it, to manipulate it based on our needs and ability to apply that to what we need. Examples of open source is Mozilla, one of my favorite, or Firefox if you are using the Mac. It's one of my favorite browser because it allows us to do things that usually are not allowed to us to do in Microsoft AI. Another thing that is another application that is or web programming that is often very popular is PHP, and again, nowadays a lot of companies are using that type of technology, from Yahoo to even Google use PHP in order for them to generate the code in order for them to display what they want. So what is R? In 2009, Ashley Winkel published in the New York Times article called Data Analysis Captured by the R Power. And in this article, which was the first time that was actually discussed what is R, she talks about what is the familiarity of R. And so to some people it was the 18 letter, and some other was the rating movies scale. But it is not about that. It is about the idea of taking data and be able to manipulate that or calculate it based on statistics, programming, and all the components of data science in order for us to do that. It is open because this is the idea of the entire movement of open source R. So a little bit about the history of the project. In 1976, it was first introduced to the Bell Labs, and it was introduced part of what they thought it would be a good development towards the future of software environment. And in 1980, John Chambers started to work on it. This was his baby in Bell Lab. And he started to work on it. He created the whole components that nowadays are used in R in order for it to communicate with other applications such as databases, websites, and so on and so on. So this is John Camber's work. He still lives and he still exists. He is a faculty in Stanford University. I saw him twice already in the Use R conference, and he's a really nice guy. But again, the big changes that went through his work is that in 1995, two professors from New Zealand took his code and opened it as an open source application, because beforehand in 1980s the code that he created was not open. It was, you had to pay in order for you to get that. So he agreed that his code will be open, and what they did was open it to everyone to use. They name it R based on their first name, Ross and Robert. And in this upcoming conference that will take place in Australia in the summer, both professors will talk about what they have achieved, what they saw, and how they think that the R can innovate today's world. So the R language is basically an object-oriented language, which means that he provides us interpretation, allowed us to see that the command line interpreted, to see what is the outcome. So the R has, like any other programming language, has basic static structure that allowed us to do particular work on a complex of numbers that and be able to plot them in order for us to motivate what we are doing. And so you will, if you are familiar with programming, you will be familiar what the R has done. However, there is some additional components that you are not familiar, and that's what the beauty of R so powerful. So, as I said, R is an object-oriented language, but the object is also the data structure that we are going to bring into R in order for us to design it, to run the analysis, or even to run the visualization out of it. And so the whole structure beginning will look a little strange, but in the end you will understand why R is an object-oriented language. One of the things that we are going to see, the foundation of R, is in the package. Everyone can create their own package. You do not need famous people to write your package in compared to any other software application. And I like to quote Linish in 2009, comparison between the R package and scientific article. And where he says that in scientific article, we are about how we communicate scientific result, and the reader expected to be certain on the format of the presentation. But R is a little bit more than that. R allowed us to create special package to share with the data collection that we are applying, because data collection can be different data sets. The data analysis, some of you would like to have regression, some of you would probably like time series or any other visualization capabilities, and ability to wrap it together in order for you to create the R package. And this is where the book is all about. Today there are more than 6,500 packages, and we are expected to grow much faster, and you're going to see that, and you're going to learn about that and how to apply that by reading this book. And this is a good thing for the undergrad. This is going to be a very good challenge for you, because if you are able to create a package in R, which means that you will be able to consult the code, be able to handle the data collection, you'll be able to show the data analysis and the data, and showing that you are ready for the workplace. And so this is a great platform for you to master if you are looking for a new job or want to promote to a better job. So this is highly recommending things to do. So the R package is basically a directory inside the package that allowed us to have a standard format, which consists of the code, the object, and everything else. And sometimes I often learn that sometimes writing a package seems to students overwhelming. So this is a good start to understand the basic and improve it over time in order for you to become better R packagers, because if you're going to work in this environment, you need to know how to run a package, how to consult a package, and how to imply a package. So what is the objective of this class? I usually like to summarize it in 4 points. 1 is to learn R. 2 is to create an R package. 3, you're going to apply that in using the R console and the R Studio, and we will see the difference between them, because there's 2 different platforms. The console was the first version, and the R Studio is the latest version, which is more user-friendly environment. And I want you to be involved in the community, and I'll show you the links and the community that is so engaging in so helping other new user to get engaged into the R program or the R project. So how to get the console? This is the website for the console. You download to R. If you are using Mac or Windows, you are fine. If you are using the Linux, you are also fine. You are able to do that. And this is the interface. It will always remind students the DOS environment in Windows. Yes, it is a very familiar interface, but again, you have to do all the work of the typing in order for you to generate the code. The R Studio is a little bit different, which means that its interface, it looks like a programming language, but it has 4 windows. The first window is the script editor, where you're going to write your code. The second window is the console that you already download, and you'll be able to see how the code runs and how it interferes with the machine. And the third window is where the workspace is set up, and where you're going to load, and you're going to see the history of what you have done. And the fourth window is where you're going to see the help files, the images, the packages that you can embed it into your workplace and manage them, or to install new packages, and so on and so on. So the basic function in the R console, you need to type it. It's usually after the prompt. You type them, for example, help, you type summary, and you have to give the entire location of the code or the data set that you are trying to run. If you are using statistics or any calculation, this is how you apply that and promote that. And you always have to hit enter in order for you to calculate. In comparison, in R Studio, you write your code as I showed you before at the script editor. This is where you are edit. And you're going to hit run the line in order for you to apply that. So example, if you are using apply function 1, and you're going to say summarize the X and Y, and so this is where you write your own script, and you're going to see the console handle your script and be able to see if you'll be able to run it. So this is something that you will encounter. In addition to introduce you to open source R, I'm going to do another thing that is really important to me, and I think also to your knowledge on programming and how to share your code. This is called the idea of sharing the code, and it's not a new idea. And this class, we are going to have version control on your code. What does it mean, version control? We are going to use GitHub in order for you to share your code. And so it will give you the idea of showing your code, because I don't want you to post your code on Canvas, because in the middle of the night the officer of Canvas will call me and say, your students post your code on your class and it causes us problems. So I don't want to get a nasty wake up calls in the middle of the night. Second, the Canvas does not allow us to run the code itself, and now does not allow other students to see the code, and so we are going to use the GitHub, and this is something that never done before in the School of Information. So the GitHub, we are going to do that, and so the GitHub, you're going to do version control and file sharing. Version control, you have more structure of how you keep your development of the package that you're going to create. You're going to have version 1, 2, and 3, and then you will be able to share your file with me or any other person you like to hear the opinions. So again, we are going to use GitHub. There's other platforms to have version control. I chose the GitHub because all our community use that, and this is really easy, and they allowed you to have already embedded into your Windows or Mac environment to be able to have that version control and see what he has done. So how do you do that? You download the GitHub from your computer, and you're going to get the enter those lines, the configure. You're going to have your name, your email, and once you've done it, you are ready to upload your code and be able to apply that. So if you need more help about the GitHub repository, I recommend you to read the link below. It will give you more essence of what it is. It is private and public. I recommend, because we are using open source, that it will be public. I want you to start sharing your work, because you're going to see other works and that will inspire you. I want you to inspire other people to do better work on their code and be able to share the codes. The final words is based on Matthew Keeler, and this is from the University of Colorado, Boulder, and he says the following: using R is a bit like smoking. The beginning, it's difficult. Once you get headaches and gag the first few times, but in the long run, it will become more addictive. So yet, deep down, those willing to be honest, there is something not fully healthy on it. And so this is his take on that. My take, yes, it's going to be addicted. And in our time, when we have so many other things running around us and so many other things asking for our attention, I think the open source R is a great platform to get our mind off the less important things and focus on the R and how to become a better active member. My objective is that you not only create the R, you will also become an active member of this community. So this is all for now. I hope that the presentation was inspired to become an R campaigner, and I'm always can be reached via email, or you can come to my office at the School of Information. And this is it. That's the end. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a lot of questions. Until next time, please do not forget February 5th and March 5th, we are going to see face to face and bring more questions. Until then, have a nice semester and we will see you soon. Bye.